What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Zero Lab. Today we're taking a look at more Pokemon TCG Pocket content. We're going to take a look at a new deck that has some pretty cool Pokemon in it with some really nice abilities and attacks. And we're going to see if we can get a couple of wins on the ladder with this pretty unique deck, I would say. So this deck revolves around the Bruxish card. The Bruxish has that second strike attack. For 2 energies, it does 10 plus 60 more damage if the active Pokemon already has damage counters on it. So how are we going to set up those damage counters? Well, we have the Greninja in here with the Water Shuriken ability that says once during your turn, you may do 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. And then it has the Miss/attack for 60. So we can use that Water Shuriken ability to set up damage counters on our opponent's Pokemon and then hit for more damage with the Bruxish. We also have in here the Pidgeot with the Drive Off ability that says once during your turn, you may switch out your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench. So we can target down some benched Pokemon with that Drive Off ability, one-shot them with the Bruxish, and win games that way. Rounding out the list, we have 2 Pokeball, 2 Research, and 2 Misties. Obviously, this is a deck heavily based around Stage 2 Pokemon, so sometimes it can be a little bit inconsistent, but it's really strong, very powerful, and very fun to play when we can pull off of those combos. So, not going into the solo battles. We're going to jump into the versus battles here, into a random match, and just see if we can get a couple of wins with this Bruxish deck. Looks like we found an opponent here, and we'll see what we can do. Coin flip, looks like we are going second. Looks like we're also going up against a water deck. We have Froakie in hand, Bruxish in hand, Pokeball, Misty, and Research. So not a bad starting hand. Looks like we're going up against an Articuno. Could be in a little bit of trouble, obviously, if they flip some heads really quickly on those Misties. At least it looks like we're not going to be hit with the turn 1 Misty, though, so that's nice. Second Articuno coming down from our opponent. Pokeball as well. Snom coming into place. It looks like they are playing the Frosmoth version. We're going to Pokeball to start our turn. Drawn into a Pidgey. And then we're going to Research. Drawing into Pidgey and another Pidgeot. So sadly, we did not find our evolutions for Froakie or our Pidgeotto. But we'll just pass the turn back. Hope that they don't have the Misty quite yet on their side. Attach for turn coming down and a pass back over to us. Second Froakie coming down. We're going to save the Misty. We're just going to second strike for 10 into the Articuno. That will set up the damage at least that we need to activate the second part of that Bruxish's attack, which will let it do more damage. Ice Wind going to do 40 to us here, and then Blizzard will finish us off on the following turn. We draw into another Misty, unfortunately. Not quite what we need right now. Second strike will do 70. Putting that Articuno EX down to 60 health remaining. And then the hope is that we can find a way to get our second Bruxish next turn. Misty and energy onto it. Energy attachment for turn and take the knockout. Unfortunate that we haven't been drawing into our evolutions yet. We have 9 cards left in deck, 2 Pidgeottos, 2 Frogadiers, 2 Greninjas, and 1 Research and 1 Pokeball. So all the cards left in our deck are things that we definitely want to see. The attack there from the Articuno, going to knock out our Bruxish. We'll send up the Froakie with an energy on it. We do draw into our second Bruxish. That's helpful. Now we just need a heads on this Misty. Never lucky, though. So attach for turn, and then we'll just flop into this Articuno. Eight cards left in deck, and they're all things that we'd like to see. Well, the Greninja's not really. We need to see the Frogadiers first. Misty coming down from our opponent. A Tails for them as well. Potion going to heal up this Articuno a little bit, but our Bruxish will still get the knockout. Well, not anymore. Not with the double potion. So I think this game is sadly over. We just couldn't draw into enough stuff, and Blizzard will one-shot our Bruxish next turn. So sadly, could not win that first game there. Just wasn't drawing as well as you need to with an evolution deck to get things going. We didn't evolve a single Pokemon. All of our evolutions were left in those 8 cards in our deck. So we're going to jump into a game 2 here and see how we can do. Looks like we are going second. We're starting Bruxish. This game we have Misty in hand if we want to potentially second strike to start the game, but we're probably going to have to research to find some of our basic Pokemon to be able to evolve on the following turns. We'll see what we are playing against here. Looks like it's a lightning deck. It is a Pikachu. So thankfully we're going second, which means they won't get a turn 2 attack. But it does mean that we are in a rough spot in terms of weakness against this deck. We're going to research here. Draw into another research on a Froakie. So at least we got the Froakie going. We're going to attach return to the Bruxish and then just end our turn there. We have the Frogadier to evolve next turn. But we will be one-shot by this Pikachu EX once they get it powered up. So lightning type decks, not great for this thing. All of our Pokemon are weak to lightning in this deck. We do have the Greninja as well. We're going to research here, hope we can find some more basic Pokemon. Another Bruxish, another Pokeball. That's great. Pokeball, hopefully we'll find us a Pidgey or a Froakie. There's the Pidgey. Bench the other Bruxish, evolve up into Frogadier. Second strike, gonna do 10 to this Pikachu. But the Circle Circuit will knock us out if they find another basic Pokemon. There is the Pikachu, so that is another basic Pokemon for them. That means Circle Circuit gonna knock out our Bruxish here. And now we gotta kind of decide what we want to do here. I don't think we can send up our Bruxish because it'll get knocked out. So I think we have to send up the Pidgey and sort of just sacrifice it here. We'll evolve up into the Greninja. Water Shuriken for 90 onto the active Pikachu. Setting up that damage to be able to knock it out later. Misty onto the Bruxish. One heads, one tails. Touch return to the Bruxish, and then just a pass here. We will be able to knock out this Pikachu on the following turn between Water Shuriken and Second Strike as long as they don't play any potions. Sabrina, we're going to send up the Greninja because they cannot one-shot it. So that actually saves us there. Circle Circuit coming down. Going to do 110 to our Greninja. We now have the Pidgeotto, which is nice. Attach return to the Greninja so we can retreat. Retreat into the Bruxish. Water Shuriken going to come down onto their Pikachu EX. And then Second Strike will knock out this Pikachu. Now I think we are potentially in a good spot to win this game. They don't really have an attacker for next turn that can one-shot our Bruxish. So they can peck, but that's not going to do much for them. And then with our drive off on the Pidgeot, we should be able to knock out whatever they send up next turn. But they now have benched that Pikachu EX, so that's no longer true. but we're still all right as long as we put this water shuriken damage correctly. They're going to attach for turn onto the Zapdos and probably just Peck here. Peck will do 40. We'll Pokeball. Should find us another Froakie here. Sadly, not probably going to have time to get 2 Greninjas in play. We will evolve up into the Pidgeot, however. We're going to attach for turn 2 the Pidgeot. And now I'm just trying to decide whether or not we want to drive off. So if we drive off, they send up whatever they send up. They can retreat out of, go into the Zapdos again. Yeah, so I think we're just going to attack into the Zapdos. Because if they end up retreating out of it, that's also fine. Second strike going to do 70. Then we're just 2 Water Shurikens away from knocking out the Zapdos. Obviously, the thing we have to be a little bit concerned about is the Lieutenant Surge, but they still need to take 2 prize cards. And so Lieutenant Surge, this Raichu discards all of the energy on it, which would mean they'd have to spend time powering it back up again. So I think we're actually in an okay spot here. There's Lieutenant Surge, going to knock out our Bruxish this turn, but they do discard all energy from this Raichu, and that means we have time to just Water Shuriken for game. So we'll send up the Pidgeot. We'll attach for turn to the Pidgeot. And then we're going to Water Shuriken the Zapdos. We're going to Misty our Greninja. Tails, unfortunately, but that should be fine. And then Wing Attack going to do 7 to this Raichu. So all we got to do is knock something out on their board. And they don't really have an attacker this turn. And Water Shuriken will end the game next turn if they don't Potion. There's the concession from our opponent. So the Water Shuriken seals up that game against Pikachu. So this deck being able to beat Pikachu is very good. Obviously, Pikachu is one of the best decks in the game right now, if not the best deck in the game right now. So being able to defeat that deck is very important. Send a thanks to our opponent there. And then we will just jump into a third game. See if we can win another. Opponent found here. Heads, that means we are going first. And we start a Froakie. We have Frogadier in hand as well as Misties. So we're definitely going to want to find a couple more basic Pokemon, but it looks like we're going up against an Articuno deck. So we don't have a ton of time. Just end our turn there. Sadly, if they do just get the double heads on a Misty here, there's not much we could do about that. Pokeball coming down from our opponent. Misty. Tails, please. Tails. There it is. All right. Always reliable on the Misty to hit Tails. Pass back over to us. We find our Bruxish. We're going to evolve up into the Frogadier here. We'll Misty onto the Bruxish. Tails, unfortunately. And we're going to Water Drip into the Articuno. Set up that damage for the Bruxish to be doing more with the second strike attack on the following turn. Hopefully they don't have another Misty. If they can Blizzard this turn, the game is over. They do have another Misty, but maybe they'll flip another Tails. They do get heads, and that is going to be game. So Blizzard here going to do 80 to our Frogadier, set up 10 on the Bruxish. That means another Blizzard will knock out the Bruxish, sadly. So just a concession there for us. Just some bad draws in a couple of games, but that is what happens with Stage 2 decks sometimes in TCG Pocket right now. Obviously, not a lot of evolution search in the game, but it is fun nonetheless to try out some of these cards and see what we can do. Water Shuriken, very strong ability. That Pidgeot's drive-off ability can be very strong as well. And I think decks like this will just become a lot better once we have evolution search in the game. But hopefully you found this video fun. I think it's fun to experiment with new decks in the game right now. Obviously, we could just be playing Pikachu and Mewtwo and Charizard and all those different decks, but it's fun to play with the cards that aren't as competitively common to see. And so I love playing with the Greninjas and the Pidgeots and the Bruxish. Even if we don't win as often, it's fun to check out these more unique decks. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.